So, Sonic the Hedgehog has made a lot of appearances in animation. He's had 5 cartoon series, soon to be 2 movies, a few animated shorts, and even a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph.
Leave your game, stay safe, stay alert, and whatever you do, don't die. Because if you die outside your own game, you don't regenerate.
But like every separate piece of Sonic media, all these appearances are very different. Sonic SatAM has a dark theme and a slew of original characters, Sonic Boom is CGI animated and has a style that is kind of a combination between Friendship is Magic and The Simpsons, and Sonic Underground has musical numbers.
We are Sonic, Sonic Underground. We're looking for a scroll that belonged to some Egyptians. It'd be no problemo if I could just read these weird inscriptions.
But if there's one thing that all these animations have in common, it's that very few of them really capture the spirit of the games. That isn't technically a bad thing, as many of them have found success in being their own thing. But if there's one animation that really captures the spirit of Sonic, it's this. This is the opening cutscene to Sonic CD, a 1993 platformer for Sega's ill-fated Genesis add-on, the Sega CD. To make use of this disc drive's added power, Sonic CD included 3 animated cutscenes, 1 for the intro and 2 for the game's good and bad endings. The shorts were produced by the animation studio Toei, known for works like Dragon Ball and One Piece. I feel that they were the perfect studio for the project, not only because the Sonic series had already taken some inspiration from their work in the past, but also because they perfectly translated Sonic into animation. If I had to describe Sonic with one word, it would be fast. It's his defining and most iconic character trait, and the one that is the focus of this opening cutscene. The intro to the game follows Sonic as he dashes around a grassy plain and jumps around rock formations until he finds Little Planet, the setting of the game, captured by Eggman and chained to the world's surface. The animation exaggerates the short travel as much as possible, with tiny obstacles like water being a big challenge for Sonic to overcome. The camera constantly shifts angles and hardly ever uses the same one twice, which delivers a great sense of speed and a lot of visual variety too. There's also a lot of great details like Sonic breaking a rock apart and then using that rock to climb higher, the little stars that occasionally appear in the dust when Sonic runs, and the double rainbow he creates. All of these details, along with some great frame-by-frame animation, helps make this opening visually stunning. It also introduces the whole concept of the game and its characters without saying a word. We learn that Sonic is a curious adventurer because of his willingness to run up to Little Planet upon seeing it, and that Eggman is a villainous egomaniac because he devoted his time to carving his face into the side of a mountain instead of doing something better with his life. The soundtrack in the cutscene helps set the tone too. Well, I technically mean soundtracks. Sonic CD has both an American and Japanese European soundtrack, since the US branch of Sega felt that the original soundtrack was too generic. I completely disagree. The Japanese European soundtrack for Sonic CD is one of the best in the series in my opinion, and that's a high compliment for a franchise with dozens of fantastic tracks. The US soundtrack is a lot more boring, with one exception, and that exception is Sonic Boom. No, not that one. Not that one either. That doesn't even have Sonic in it. No, I'm talking about the energetic techno-vocal tune Sonic Boom, which is nothing short of a classic in the Sonic series.
It's a supersonic flight, gotta keep it going. Sonic boom, Sonic boom, Sonic boom, keeps you running fast. Sonic boom, Sonic boom, save the planet from disaster. Sonic boom, Sonic boom, spinning through the world in motion. Sonic boom, Sonic boom.
The Japanese song for the intro is called Toot Toot Sonic Warrior. No, I am not making that up. That is actually what it is called. Honestly, this song is almost as good as Sonic Boom, just for the sweet track that backs up the vocals. But what causes it to suffer are the vocals themselves. They suffer from some really bad direct Japanese to English translations. The title of the song alone should give you a sample of what you should expect.
It's not that bar. What do you mean? Give it taste. Going home. Time zone. Cincinnati. Live alone. Leather lace. Get in place. What do you get? Say. Back it. Zoom room. Cosmic zoom. That's up James. Sonic boom.
The Japanese European credits song, Cosmic Eternity, on the other hand, is awesome. The cheesy English lyrics return, but they work really well together with the head-boppingly funky background music.
You feel tight, look at yourself. Inside your heart, you will find a special place to align. When you feel right, look at yourself. Inside your mind, you see connectivity.
I'd honestly call this one of my favorite vocal tracks in the series, and it's way better than the slow and boring version of Sonic Boom that the US version has for its credits.
Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. You're running fast. Save the planet from disaster.
Speaking of the credits, let's move on to the two ending cutscenes for the game. They're nearly identical with only one scene different between the two. It begins with Sonic escaping from the collapsing metallic madness zone with Amy Rose in his hands. Once he's sure that she's safe, Sonic quickly dashes off, with Amy not even able to get a glimpse at him. What I like about this section is how slowly it's animated. I would normally take credit away from this cutscene for having choppy animation, but it actually works well here, since it contrasts well with how fast Sonic moves after he lets Amy free from his arms. Once again, the animation conveys Sonic's personality really well. He's a nice guy, and he'll be a hero if he needs to, but he'd much rather be free to do whatever he wants, not having anything weighing him down. The rest of the cutscene shows Little Planet being released from Eggman's grasp and flying back into space. In the good ending, which appears if you collected all the time stones in the game, Little Planet launches a firework of Sonic before exploding into a burst of pixie dust and disappearing forever. Well, until Sonic 4 decided to bring it back and retcon the good ending, but that's besides the point. Sonic's reaction to this accurately sums mine up. He's all like, "What the heck was that?" Weirdly enough, I find the bad ending much more satisfying. We see Eggman escape with one of the time stones, and what does Sonic do when he sees this? He picks up a rock and throws it at Eggman, knocking him out of the sky! It's so much cooler than Little Planet simply farting out of existence. There's one thing I don't completely understand about it, and that's how after Sonic throws the rock at Eggman, the rock or something else comes from the opposite direction to knock Eggman down. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an instance of cartoon logic or something else, but it's still a very cool scene. During the credits, we get a handful of short scenes, this time showing Sonic having adventures in each zone of the game, including one that was even cut during development. Despite a few instances of some lazy backgrounds, these sequences are also very well animated, and they show off a lot of diverse enemies and locations, along with the snarky side of Sonic's personality. That's something that was very subdued during most of the other cutscenes. Previously, Sonic didn't really show much expression, similarly to what you would see in the early games. Despite this, I still think that we get a good amount of Sonic's trademark attitude during all these credits. In some places, Sonic's cocky attitude can get a bit annoying, so it's good that moments where he acts like that are very spread out. Almost all Sonic fans agree that Sonic CD has one of the best interpretations of Sonic, and I agree. Not only because this is one of the few Sonic adaptations where I felt that he was actually badass at times, but he also has a really solid design that is cool, sharp, expressive, and also looks good from the front, which is a problem that too many Sonic designs suffer from. I honestly find the animated cutscenes in Sonic CD to be the best part of the entire game. Not only are they unique and a great interpretation of the classic games, but they are also great animations in their own right, and way better than they had any right to be. Despite being made in 1993, these original animations still hold up incredibly well today. I say original animations, since when these cutscenes first made their debut, it was in the form of compressed full-motion video, in order to fit the limits of the Sega CD. The cutscenes don't look too bad in the original game, but luckily the 2011 HD remaster uses the original uncompressed video, and upscales the quality to HD too. I'd highly recommend you check out these cutscenes if you haven't already. It's more than just a great piece of Sonic media, it's a great piece of animation in and of itself. Despite it having been over 22 years, there hasn't really been anything else that is quite like Toei's cutscenes for Sonic CD. Its influence can be seen during parts of the 1996 Sonic OVA, which has a lot of shots that look nearly identical to Sonic CD's intro, and the opening cutscene for Sonic Unleashed, which uses techniques similar to the ones Sonic CD's cutscenes used in order to capture Sonic's speed and animation, but this time in 3D. For years, it seemed like Sega had forgotten about one of their greatest creations, at least until recently. A couple of weeks ago, Sega released a new trailer for the 90s throwback game Sonic Mania. The trailer featured an animated section by Tyson Hesse, known for his work on the Sonic Archie comics and the miniseries Mega Drive. Again, you can see the influence of the Sonic CD cutscenes in the speed and designs in the trailer. But what's even more interesting is this GIF that was recently leaked online back in April. It was done by Max Collins, who's currently working on the Cartoon Network show OKKO. The GIF features Hesse's distinct design for Sonic, and shows him encountering this enemy. At the time of writing this video, this guy hasn't appeared in any piece of Sonic media, but he looks similar to some of the other boss enemies in the game, and even vaguely matches up with one of their silhouettes. That, combined with how smooth and professional it looks, points to this being an animation for Sonic Mania, either a part of a long opening cutscene or an animated level transition. If this animation is real and as good as it looks to be, then Sonic Mania has a chance of topping CD and having the best cutscenes in the series history. But it's not like there's a lot of other competition in that area.
Oh, Sonic! You know what's better than an ambush?
An ambush with ice cream?
Don't be late. Same to you.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
Actually, I think we've already found the best one. Oh, and if you like the cutscenes or the classic Sonic games, please read Sonic Mega Drive. It's filled to the brim with charming character and illustrations, as well as the best character designs of the entire series. Tyson Hesse's art is too good for this world. It's a shame that Archie may never finish this miniseries, since the entire Sonic comic line seems to have been quietly cancelled. I'm sure glad that instead of focusing on this fantastic comic series, Archie would rather focus on its Riverdale TV show that produces quality material like this. And who could forget this? That music doesn't fit at all. It would be much better with something like this.
Can you see the sun is shining on me? It makes me feel so free, so alive. It makes me want to survive on the sky. It makes me feel so high. The bad times pass me by, 'cause today is gonna be a brighter day. Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up today? Don't you feel that sometimes you just need to run away? You don't know the sunshine, to care about the rain, to think about the good times, and they will come back again.